Hello Tigers, and welcome to the TMNtv Newscast for Wednesday, October 10th, 2018. Stay tuned for the latest news at Fort Hays State University and around Northwest Kansas and the nation. I am Lauren Davis, and Jenna Holly will be here shortly with a look at what's going on around the globe. And Haley White will fill you in on what's happening in the sports world. But first, here's what's making news in Tigerland. Fort Hays State will induct 5 members into its Athletic Hall of Fame on Saturday. The ceremony will begin at 10 a.m. Saturday in the Memorial Union Ballroom. The 5 also will be recognized at halftime of the Saturday's game against Pittsburgh State. Heading into the Hall of Fame this year will be former athletic administrator Carolyn Bird, former wrestler Weston Harding, former baseball standout Dave Niels, former football player Jose Salcido, and former basketball player Ed Shoemaker. Last week, a new poll showed Democrat Laura Kelly had a slight edge over Republican Chris Kobach in the race for Kansas governor. The poll by the Remington Research Group indicates Kelly received 42% and Kobach's 41%. The poll had a margin of error of 2.4%. Independent Greg Oman polled at 10%. No other candidate was better than 2%. According to the Topeka Capital Journal, Kelly said the poll showed a result of Democrats and Republicans backing her as Kansas's next governor. The poll came out ahead of President Donald Trump's visit to Topeka. Trump's visit to Topeka brought in nearly 11,000 people to the Kansas Expo Center on Saturday. The Republican president was in the state to rally Republicans ahead of the November general election that features several tight races, including the one for governor between Kelly and Kobach. Trump's visit came only hours after Brett Kavanaugh was confirmed as the newest Supreme Court justice. According to the Topeka Capital Journal, Trump said, "I stand before you today on the heels of a tremendous victory for our nation. I want to thank our incredible Republican senators for refusing to back down in the face of the Democrats' shameless campaign. Radical Democrats launched a disgraceful campaign." The president's visit also brought several hundred professors to the street of the state's capital. Nearly 500 lined the sidewalk outside the Expo Center to show opposition to Trump. In his visit to Topeka, Trump also suggested the country would benefit from bringing current Kansas Governor Jeff Colyer to Washington, D.C. "I think we have to talk to him about bringing him on to Washington or something," Trump told the thousands in attendance at the rally. The Topeka Capital Journal reported conversations apparently began that Colyer conceded the Republican nomination for governor after the primary election. According to a source, the conversations has been healthcare and international relations. 3 people were arrested in connection with the murder of a Colorado man whose body was found near the small town of Hanson in Hodgman County. Bayan Diaz Bautista's body was found October 1st in a field approximately 3 miles west of Hanson. Investigators determined he died from gunshot wounds. Emilio Nunez Bahina, Veronica Nunez, and Emilio Nunez Torres were arrested in Colorado and charged with the murder. The 3 were being held without bond at the Lanier County Jail in Colorado. An FHSU Associate Professor of Geosciences and 2 students of the department were named award winners from the Society of Exploration Geophysicists. Hendretta Alley received the 2018 Outstanding Educator Award. Russell Krug, a Hayes senior, was awarded the SEG Chevron Student Leadership Award, and Luke Riefkogel, a graduate of FHSU, received a student program grant. The awards will be presented in late October in California. If you're feeling pain at the pump when you go to fill up your vehicle, there's a good reason for it. Gas prices in Kansas and across the nation are trending higher, with the average price in the state at $2.75 per gallon. AAA Kansas said prices in the state rose 8 cents in the last month and are 44 cents higher than a year ago at this time. Usually when the fall season hits, gas prices drop. It's the highest gas prices have been since 2014, when motorists were paying more than $3 a gallon. Those are the stories making headlines in our region this week. After we return from this short break, Jen will be here with a look at what's going on around the globe.
I think there's a perception out there that web and mobile application development is this field where you sit behind a computer all day and code. And that's not it at all, right? And there's even a perception out there that geek is bad. But I think students should embrace their inner geek. We don't code all day. We look at issues, we look at problems, and try to figure out the pieces of the puzzle and how to put them together to build things.
I was able to learn JavaScript, HTML, CSS, PHP, just kind of the whole 9 yards with that. So I really enjoyed the full program that they offered here.
Anything that you're interested in, the field of web and mobile application development, there's a value to. There's nothing like what we have in the informatics department. If you choose to take everything in the buffet that we offer, you'll be very well prepared for any type of job opportunity that's out there.
Hello Tigers, I'm Jenna Hawley and here's what's going on around the globe. The U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations announced her resignation Tuesday. Nikki Haley's resignation from the position caught many off guard, but not President Donald Trump, who said the move had been in the works for months. Her resignation will take place at the end of the year. Haley said she was resigning to take time off after a hectic last 6 years that included a stint as governor of South Carolina. During her time leading that state, she had to deal with a hurricane, a large flood, and a massive shooting. She then spent 2 years at the United Nations. After a tense battle between political parties, Brett Kavanaugh was confirmed to be the next Supreme Court Justice on Saturday. Kavanaugh was confirmed with a 50 to 48 vote, the thinnest margin for any Supreme Court nominee in modern era. Protests that took place during his confirmation process and hearing continued to the end, interrupting the Senate vote multiple times. President Donald Trump said he believed Kavanaugh will go down as a totally brilliant Supreme Court justice for many years. His confirmation now gives the court a conservative majority. President Trump also apologized to Kavanaugh for the battle over his confirmation. The president also declared that the newly appointed justice innocent of the sexual assault allegations that nearly kept him from being confirmed. I want to apologize to Brett and the entire Kavanaugh family for the incredible pain you have been forced to endure. You, sir, under historic scrutiny, were proven innocent, Trump said. Kavanaugh was accused of sexual assault by 3 women decades ago and underwent an investigation in hearings before eventually being confirmed. He took his seat with the rest of the justices on Tuesday. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo labeled his recent meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un as productive and another step forward. Pompeo gave no additional details on the meeting between the two as the U.S. continues to push North Korea to denuclearize. The U.S. has had meetings with North Korea in the past about the same issue, but has seen no movement by the country to legitimately take steps to ease its nuclear capabilities. According to the Tribune News Service, Pompeo said in the process of denuclearization, there are many steps along the way, and we took one of those today. The Florida Panhandle is bracing for a direct hit from Hurricane Michael. The storm was expected to intensify into a Category 3 hurricane by the time it makes landfall. Officials are saying the hurricane could be the strongest to hit the Florida Panhandle in more than 13 years. Numerous storm surge warnings were put into effect for the region, and officials were urging thousands to evacuate if they live in storm surge-prone areas. Widespread power outages and significant tree and structural damage was expected. 20 people were killed Saturday in a limousine crash in New York. The limo driver lost control of the vehicle as it traveled down a hill. The vehicle hit an unoccupied vehicle after running a stop sign. The other vehicle then struck and killed 2 pedestrians in a nearby parking lot of a store. All 18 people in the limo were killed. An investigation into the accident continues. That's what is happening in the news world this week. Stay tuned for a sports update with Haley White when we return.
Tiger Media Network is Fort Hays State University's independent student media organization. It's a student employment opportunity where you can work for either the news side or the sports side. So you can be on live sports production, which produces all of the live sports broadcasts that we do, or you could be on the news side and do news stories covering things on campus, so presidential announcements, Student Government Association. We bring that news to the student community and the Hays community as well.
You don't realize how much Fort Hays State has to offer until you're here.
I mean, it is definitely, this is a land of opportunity here.
I just got back from the MIAA tournament in Kansas City a couple weeks ago where we worked with other production crews including Pitt State and Central Missouri. And it's a great time. I've gone there the last couple years.
For me anyway, I get to do sports, which is what I love. And if live productions is where that's at, this is the perfect place to do it. We have almost everything that you could possibly imagine.
Tiger Media Network allows you the opportunity to take the skills you've learned and put them forward in a real-world, real application setting that allows you to flourish and grow as a professional, and that will only help you and benefit you when you graduate and go into the real-world workforce.
Turnovers sealed the fate of FHSU football, allowing Emporia State to come out of Saturday's contest with a 28-24 win over the Tigers. FHSU took control early but lost momentum after 3 turnovers in the first half, with 2 of those in the red zone. The Tigers battled back and forth with the Hornets throughout the second half, ultimately allowing ESU to take the lead at the end of play. With Saturday's loss, FHSU fell out of the AFCA Top 25 for the first time this season. The Tigers currently sit in a third-place tie in MIAA standings with Missouri Western and Nebraska Kearney. Fort Hays will have a tough test at home this weekend as they take on Pittsburgh State, one of the front runners of the conference. The game is slated for 2 p.m. at Lewis Field on Saturday. Defensive lineman Wyatt Parker, quarterback Jacob Missouri, and head coach Chris Brown discuss what they expect to see from the Gorillas Saturday during this week's press conference.
I don't think the motivation has changed at all. You know, with Northwest beating Pitt, that really opened up the conference. You know, it's still anybody's, you know what I'm saying? Us being third and then Pitt and Northwest being both 5-1, you know, it's really anybody's conference right now. 2 slip-ups, you know, we can't afford another one, but so from now on out, the rest of the year, I was telling the guys, literally every game's a conference championship, you know, because we can't afford to lose another one. So that has to be our mentality throughout the next 5 games.
Especially, we just got to know that we got to get the ball out and find the guys in open space and, you know, get them the ball and see what happens, make them tackle. Like you said, their defensive line and their sacks total is just crazy. So, you know, we just got to find a weakness and exploit it. And I think so far with the game plan, we're doing a good job. And, you know, we're out here yesterday. It was freezing. Probably one of the coldest practices I've ever had since I've been here. And so I think we did an okay job, though, assignment-wise, and knowing what was going on, even though, like, the ball was on the ground a little bit. But, no, I think we're doing a good job so far.
They're good. You know, I still think they're really good players. I mean, they run the ball well. They manage the offense very well. You know, and, you know, Pitt State's a heavy run team. You know, they're going to try to control the clock and keep your offense off the field. And but, you know, those other quarterbacks filling in, I mean, you know, Roderick's a very strong runner, powerful runner. These other guys maybe aren't as powerful, but maybe a little bit shiftier. But they still do some great things and make some great things happen as well. I mean, they've won, even without Roderick, with these guys, you know, back at the quarterback position, they've won ball games. So, you know, I can see it going either way. I mean, they're still going to be good. They're getting more confidence each week as they play. So, you know, I expect those guys to be even better this week.
The FHSU men's soccer team collected its 6th consecutive win Sunday with a 2-1 victory over Lindenwood at home. The Tigers currently sit at number 14 and 4-0 in MIAA play. The Tigers will continue their homestand with another 2-match weekend starting Friday against Southwest Baptist, followed by a match against the number 17th ranked Northeastern State on Sunday. With 2 more conference wins this weekend, the Tigers could clinch the conference title for a 2nd consecutive year. I sat with head coach Brett Parker earlier this week and discussed what it would take for the team to defend its conference crown this weekend.
Yeah, you know, we've had a good run the last few weeks. I think 3 weeks in a row unbeaten. So confidence is high, but we know this time of year the games are more difficult. Teams, you know, that you're playing against are desperate for wins. You know, championships are on the line, so it's important that we continue to keep the streak going.
FHSU women's soccer also improved their conference record Sunday with a 3-goal advantage over Northwest Missouri State, leaving the Bearcats scoreless. The Tigers scored all 3 goals in the second half, with a goal by Darby Hirsch to put the Tigers ahead in the 51st minute of the match. Freshman forward Macy Decker added on to the FHSU score and netted her first goal of her career to put the Tigers up 2 goals. Decker also scored the third and final goal to end the match with the Tigers on top. I also spoke with head coach Blake Reynolds this week and discussed how vital it is for the younger players on the roster to step up this season and fill the open spots due to injuries.
Yeah, we don't, it's a luxury if you have somebody that can score 15 to 20 goals in a season, and we don't have that player right now. But we do have, which is different than last year, we have a handful, more than a handful of players who can score. And that's what really challenged us last year. We had a defense that was outstanding last year, a midfield that was fantastic, but we didn't have enough weapons last year in the offense, and that we just ran out of steam. This year we've given up some more goals. Some of the injuries are part of that, but we're scoring more. We're on a pace to break last year's scoring amount by a lot, and that's the difference. You have to be able to score in big games, and we can do that this year. There's no one person you can key on because all of the ladies in the attack can play and score, and I think we already have more players that have scored this year than did last year. And we still have 6 games left plus playoffs, hopefully. So it just goes to show I got a full recruiting class in here, got some ladies who can really play in the attack, and it's fun to watch because they score in a variety of different ways.
The team will be back on the road this weekend as it travels to Missouri to take on number 17 Central Missouri Friday and Lindenwood on Sunday. After having 2 weeks off since their last race, FHSU cross country will be back in action this weekend as the Tigers host the FHSU Tiger Open at the Sam Plum Nature Trail in Victoria on Saturday. The event will consist of 4 races, with the first beginning at 9 a.m. The unofficial start of basketball season started as the MIAA Basketball Media Day took place in Kansas City on Tuesday. FHSU women's basketball was picked second in both 2018 and 19 MIAA coaches and media preseason women's basketball polls released at the Media Day. The Tigers are coming off a 3rd-place finish in regular season and a runner-up finish in the conference tournament last season. The Mid-America Intercollegiate Athletics Association, also part of Media Day, released FHSU men's basketball was picked 6th in the media poll and 7th in the coaches poll. The Tigers finished 19-12 overall last season, knocking off the number 2 seed Missouri Southern in the quarterfinals of the MIAA tournament. The women will open preseason on October 28th as they travel to Lawrence to play in the historic Allen Fieldhouse and face Kansas. The men will have a month before their season opener tips off November 9th in Marshall, Minnesota against the University of Sioux Falls. Different week, same story for Kansas City Chiefs as they enter week 6 of the 2018 NFL season, beating the Jacksonville Jaguars 30-14. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes posted a 318-yard game, also running for a touchdown for his 2nd consecutive week. Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce improved on the week as he hauled in 7 receptions for 100 yards against the Jags. The questionable receiver of the day, Sammy Watkins, went for 78 yards, and the always dangerous Tyreek Hill went for 61 yards receiving on the day. The Chiefs are 5-0 on the season and 2-0 at home. Kansas City will have a big test Sunday night with the matchup against the New England Patriots. The game is slated for 7:20 on NBC. Sporting Kansas City settled for a 1-1 draw against the LA Galaxy on Saturday night. Forward Johnny Russell's goal put Sporting in a tie with the Galaxy to end the match. Sporting will be back in action Wednesday, October 17th against the Vancouver Whitecaps FC at 9 p.m. Central. That concludes this episode. Tune in next week for another episode of TMNtv. To stay up to date on the latest news and information throughout the week, visit tigermedianet.com. Until then, remember, roar Tigers.